Hey, Randy, how you doing, man?
Who do you think?
Mm-hmm.
For $50 each. Exactly. An American or whoever.
Did you take any island hoppers?
No, even the locals haven't been able to visit their relatives in over a year. Everything was shut down. So,
I spent 3 months on the Big Island.
that's nice. That's a long time. Huh?
1980, when was that? 85.
Right. Yeah, but that's about how it was for us with no tourists there. You must have had a good time.
Yeah, I was there in February, March, April.
This month's really good. We're going to Kauai next year in April again, just because it was so nice.
I used to live in Jupiter
Oh, okay. Yeah.
for 3 years.
Same with Bill, you know? Bill Morris. Did you know him there? Huh, big town there. Yeah.
Big town. That was before they finished I-95.
So it's a little.
No, they still have the free.
I see.
All right,
Oh, I'm going. All right, guys.
we can get started here. Turn your mics on if they're not. If they were, there's no telling who heard you. So, I'd like to call the Utilities Committee meeting for June 7th, 2021. It's about 3 o'clock. Call it to order. Could I get a motion for the approval of agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, I've gone over the notes from last meeting. We need to get an approval on that.
Move to approve the notes from last month's agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Somebody needs some chocolate. Ron, you need some chocolate, Ron?
You a diva?
At least you didn't say Snickers.
So were you just talking about rules or were you testing product in that meeting? All right. Eric, it looks like there's several of them are yours here.
Karen, can you get the Zoom meeting up? So we got Ashley joining us through Zoom, and she'll present the sewer audit.
Hi. All right, let me share my screen. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So for the sewer audit, we have audited 5,348 properties to date. Compared to the number of previously audited properties, 4,943. The number of properties that have connected during the audit process are 160. We do have letters out right now, so once we get those cleaned up, this number will actually most likely end up increasing, hopefully by the next utility committee meeting. Number of properties connected ahead of being audited is 74. The total number of properties connected to date is 234, and we have 42 pending properties. So these are the letters that are currently out right now for being connected, or they haven't been billed, or so there's a couple of different types of letters for these people. According per Tim's request, and let me try to figure out how to zoom in. Let's see. Okay. He wanted things broken down by fiscal year, and so I did the properties that were audited, not the ones who connected ahead of the audit. I am currently working on that, so I will be able to present that next utility committee. So in fiscal year 2017, this is when we just started the audit. We audited about 1,500 properties, very close to 1,500. Fiscal year 2018, the number of properties that were not billed that were starting to get billed were 21, and we got 12 new connections. and we audited 640 properties. For fiscal year 2019, we had 34 people who started getting billed that weren't previously billed, 41 new connections, and 1,306 properties audited. Fiscal year 2020, we had 12 people who weren't getting billed that started getting billed, 28 new connections, and 920 properties that were audited. And during fiscal year 2021, 0 properties that were not getting billed were getting billed, 12 new connections, and 984 properties that were connected. And that is the sewer audit. Does anybody have any questions?
Ashley, it's John.
Hi.
Are you getting pretty good response? Or have you had problems with anybody not hooking up?
For the most part, everybody's been pretty good about hooking up. You do get those people every once in a while, but for the most part, I feel like we've had pretty good response with everybody.
Good. We haven't had to take anybody to court yet?
Couple, but it gets resolved.
Good.
John, majority of the time, we resolve it before the court. They get summoned in, but we resolve it within that period.
Well, she can just send the summons out with the letter.
Yeah, right?
All right, thank you, Ashley.
And I'll go to Eric's. Let me just zoom out real quick. First one, okay. There you go, Eric.
So for the water audit, we have showing a slight decline in the infrastructure leakage index, as noticed in some of the other indicators. So it's showing that there's less leaks in our system. And then the value of our non-revenue water continues to drop down as those expired water right leases continue to be excluded out of the 12-month average. On the next page, Ashley. So the trailing 12-month, this is the one that's got the gray bars on the bottom. So you can see that we've been dealing with a ever-increasing non-revenue water for the last 2 years, but this is leveled off, at least in the last few months, and hopefully we can continue a trend of getting that back down. But we have also noticed, that total water supply going up a little bit. Actually, the next slide. So in the unadjusted and trailing 12-month averages, we can see that our, from last summer's big boom in total water produced, which is the dotted blue line, we've continued that trend, generally going down for our total water produced. And then our billed consumption has slightly increased and has actually exceeded the non-revenue water for this last month of April. So that's also a really good trend. So I've been working with Karen Gutierrez. We've got a scope of work drafted for getting a company in for leak detection services, and we're getting that ready to advertise in the first part of July. And so we're going to look at over a year period doing an acoustic or correlation survey over the whole town and see if we can find any leaks that aren't surfacing. So hopefully that will help us out substantially. And then Adam's projects should hopefully, once we start putting in some new water lines, should start seeing some of those savings again. And again, those projects were kind of delayed by the emphasis of treatment plant 3, but now that we're wrapping up that project, we can get back to putting in more water lines. Any questions?
Nope, I guess you get asset management.
So for asset management, we've gotten the asset valuations from the Southwest Environmental Finance Center. There's a couple things that Ashley and I need them to do some additional valuations on, but for the most part, we do have our asset values. And then one of their staff is working on setting up the utility network. So that's our new geodatabase that all of our data is going to go into. And we've resolved all the complications with the servers. It was kind of a long process working with Systems MD to get the correct server versions for ArcGIS to set up this utility network, but we should start moving forward with getting our data in that. That's all I've got for asset management so far.
Okay. Well, you've got risk and resiliency too.
So Ashley and I have been working quite a bit with each other to pick up the risk and resilience assessment. We've completed well over half of the assets for our next step, which is evaluating the kind of the consequences, looking at, if we lose this asset, how many customers are out of service and how long is it going to be out of service, and then estimating the values for asset replacement. So that's why we really emphasize the asset evaluation process with the asset management program, because it tied right into that. So Ashley started putting those into the VSAT tool, and I think that we are definitely on track to finalize the assessment before the 30th. That's the due date. But Ashley and I have chunked out the rest of this month to really emphasize working and finishing that process.
All right. With all the news about all the ransomware attacks and stuff, do you think there'll be any money coming down to help with any of that?
I hope so. With the federal government acknowledging the, importance in, all of these, various computer programs, that I do think there could be some funds coming that way.
That might be helpful.
Yeah.
All right. The enterprise funds.
So I just added this in there so that we can give you guys updates when the procurement and development process starts, but I've shared the draft scope of work with everyone through the council agenda, and tomorrow we'll have a discussion on any other changes that the governing body is interested in there. But if anyone here has any comments or concerns, be a great time to talk about them.
I have any questions? All right, the Alto Reservoir improvements.
So we have selected a contractor to work with the pressure testing for the Alto Reservoir improvements. And I apologize, Ron, I was going to reach out to you that day, but I was not feeling well the rest of it. But I need to talk to you about getting in touch with the permitting person at DOT. Maybe we can chat after this, but I just need to get a permit to do the excavation for the fire hydrant. That is going to be our sample point. But after that, we should have all the clearances and everything arranged.
What are you needing for the permit, Eric?
Well, so the website has like 3 different types of utility permits, and I don't know which one to fill out.
Okay.
And was hoping that there might be a more streamlined process for us to dig up area that's just on the side of the road, not impacting any pavement.
I'll tell you what, why don't we sit down and just call Eddie together and see which one they need to do, and we'll get that straightened out.
Okay.
give you all, Jessie Crane's her name. She's an engineer there in District 2, and I have her cell number. She'll help you out with that because we went through a transition with somebody new.
I appreciate the help, everyone.
All right. Underground storage and recovery.
So Roger and I have been doing some analysis on this process, and it's just not looking economically feasible for us to invest the money in the pilot study. So Roger is preparing a technical memo, and we'll be presenting at the July council meeting to basically get concurrence from the governing body that we won't continue with the project.
Do you have any alternative projects for storage?
Not necessarily for storage, but I do think that there's some opportunities to offset some of our use of water on the Ruidoso side, including the potential of us, when we have a high production rate, to ask the golf course to take water from our distribution system and use that for irrigation versus running the wells, which we still have to charge our water rate portfolio. I think that could help us. And I think with the treatment plant 3 coming online, I think the Alto Reservoir is going to play a better component in us balancing out our water portfolio and being able to extend the usage of the spring runoffs.
So Eric, I heard you on the radio the other day, you said that as far as this particular project, that in looking at it, it was, I believe you said something about $500,000, $500,000 as far as the engineers, the cost of this study?
Yeah, so in our upfront discussions with NMED and the Office of the State Engineer, they were recommending that we pursue drilling 3 monitoring wells. And so the investment of putting in the wells plus then the cost of our consultant fees, I could get the total amount and I'll present that at the council meeting, but you'd add in an extra $120,000 for consultant fees on top of the capital of $500,000. So, it would take us about $600,000 to move forward with the study. And right now we've only invested about, I think like $25,000 to $30,000. So it's just a sunk cost that, just the cost of us trying to explore that process. And I really wish it would have worked out, but it just, I don't want us to waste more money in this pursuit.
All right. The Wingfield Park and Midtown drainage improvements.
No change in that. We're just waiting for the bids for the Horton complex to come in to see. I didn't want to commit funds to move forward with that project if we were going to end up needing some extra to cover the stormwater improvements here. So once we get the bid proposal in, if we've got extra funds available, we'll start the our final engineering process for that project. Okay. But I have shared that with Will Moses, who's working on the Wingfield master plan. So he is aware of the project and the intents of it.
Does the Wingfield Park study include the Mashburn property there?
I don't think that the final scope included it. I was trying to see if it would be included, but I don't think it was. But I think, Tim, you said it was going to be added, or Rodney?
I've asked Rodney to get a price of adding it.
Okay.
All right. The stormwater management here, you kind of touched on, but,
You skipped over engineering.
oh, okay. I'm in a hurry.
We didn't want to talk to Randy or Adam.
That's right.
Just Eric.
All right.
Sounds good.
He wants to rest now. Randy, the Grindstone Dam projects.
Okay. We received the 100% package for the dam cleaning project, and we got the comments back from James Head, or should I say Book. which comprised of 34 items that need to be addressed. But we got that on Friday. I spoke to Gresh from Yane Associates, and he is gonna take care of all the items. But what we're gonna do in the meantime is set up a meeting with James Head, Chuck, and a few of the other engineers that are involved, and have a meeting with James to go over all the items to make sure that we're all on the same page. Then he's gonna go ahead and do the corrections, and then we're gonna submit it back to OSC Dam Safety Bureau for their concurrence, and then we're gonna move on. I'm also working on task order 5. I had them break down more of a cost for all the items that they're going to be doing. And that's basically for the dam vault and the headworks conduit. It's going to be an inspection plus an engineering report on their findings and their suggestions. So we'll be meeting sometime this week on that. I'm going to make the necessary changes to the task order, and then I'll get that rolling. Trying to do some of these projects concurrently with the dam cleaning project. That way we can try to get everything addressed by the end of the year. So, and we are also looking at a couple other projects being combined as one instead of separate projects. That'll help with the cost and make it a little more efficient, I think. They're kind of light projects, so.
And this will also help us save in the per diem costs. So as they're coming down and inspecting the dam drain project, we'll have other task orders started so they can do other inspections to keep the process moving.
Yeah, that's
So it's
good.
combining a little bit of everything and being more effective with time and money, so. The other thing is we had our dam inspection, and James came down with another engineer, and we went through grindstone a lot through the gallery, and we took them from one end to the other, and seemed like it went well, but we'll wait till the inspection, but till that comes out. But one thing I can say is he's noticed that we've been working real hard to address all these items. And a lot of the items that he had in the previous reports or the inspection is being addressed now, or, we're working on. So he does see a big improvement. Everything he's asked, I've got working, but the only thing is it just doesn't seem like it's fast enough. But that's why Eric and I met with Chuck and Gresh and kind of went over all these projects to see if we can speed it up and get it completed by the end of the year, so. But other than that, the project's doing okay.
Well, good.
Randy, is that the correspondence I sent to you on Friday?
Yes. Matter of fact, I printed it out. It's a little book. It's 34 items. And then, of course, this is kind of a summary of everything also. So, but yeah, we'll get that addressed and get those changes.
Are you going to pass that out to all the members of the utility committee?
I sure can. Or I can email it. So,
Be fine for me.
seems like a lot of items, but a lot of them aren't that big of a deal. Just titling and different minor changes, so.
Okay, the hazard mitigation stabilization, I guess. That you, Karen?
Yes, sir. We have received all of the final edits from Moles and Corbin, and actually, high water mark will be coming down on Wednesday, the 9th. We'll be meeting probably after the SAK 130 meeting to finalize that listing and prepare for the village manager for review. So we should have a good starting point of where we're going to I guess, get with Mr. Koppler and start making those adjustments to the offer packets.
Okay.
We'll get those meetings back on track as far as getting everybody updated and stuff.
So how are you doing on all the easements? Have they been, except these that have to be changed?
For the most part, we stopped because there was a transition period of what we were getting, the edits we were getting back from the engineer versus what we had. So the ones that I did receive that had any changes, we stopped to make the changes so that we could present those changes to the property owner rather than paying them out and then having to adjust that again.
Right.
So we kind of halted on that until we got the new exhibits and stuff in so that we can go back to meeting with the property owners again.
No, thanks.
Bring food.
Okay, now stormwater management at Horton.
So for the stormwater management at Horton, we've been working with Catlin to answer any of his questions he has about the outside project. One of the major things was there's a power pole that's right next to the sidewalk here that we had proposed to relocate, but Catlin felt that it would be damaged in the removal process, and so we've eliminated that from the project, and we'll actually trace the wire back and terminate it. So Catlin was trying to get a J-box installed, a road traffic rated J-box, but it's gonna be cheaper for us just to find that electrical wire and just abandon it. So we've got everything for him. I guess I'm not sure, Ron, do you know when he's expecting to get?
We're looking at getting the bids on the 23rd or 24th of this month.
We'll have it by Friday. We just don't know which Friday.
One of them.
Monday,
Are we sure we want to see the price when it comes in? That's the,
I'm gonna let you see, look at it first, Eric.
okay.
Well, it'll allow us to take that other off the list, shouldn't it? Right, the Eagle Creek and Gavilan Canyon well field design and planning.
So last week I mentioned we did finally get the official award letter, so confirmed the award. Karen and I sat through fun 2-hour training on the grant process, and so I think both of us are really happy we attended. It sounds like some of the process has changed a bit since Karen's helped administer a previous water trust board, but it should be pretty straightforward, and we've got most of the documents that we need to submit for the readiness to proceed, and Molson and Corbin is preparing the last one, and they'll get it to us next week, so we should be good to start the process, the project. They're due on September 11th, but by us submitting it early, we'll get those funds available. But the second that we get the award letter, the funds that we do expend are eligible expenses. So tomorrow is the award of the contract to General Hydronics. So we know that based on their schedule, we can give the notice to proceed because we do have the money budgeted. So we can float the project until the grant comes in, which will probably be in October is when they're expecting the grant disbursement to be.
They're doing a lot of work for us, General Hydronics.
Yes, and I don't know how Adam feels, but in the project that they did for me, for Apple Orchard and Middle Gavilan, I was really happy with the work that they did.
As far as the construction and stuff is concerned, I think they're a good contractor.
I've worked with them a lot and helped out on the project, and they were pretty good to work with. I mean, I could even call him on the weekend and ask him a question, and he would answer, and so I thought that was pretty neat.
Good. All right, Karen, the lift stations and force mains.
Okay, lift stations, force mains, we just had our pre-con meeting last Thursday. We are issuing a notice to proceed today, or Moulton Court will get that notice to proceed to Smithco today, and that will begin their 90-day ramp-up period. So we should start getting some more information from them as far as what they're planning to do in a better time schedule, project schedule from them.
And I have been in contact with JW also, as far as getting in contact with P&M, with so their power pole and stuff that they're needing moved is on their schedule for when they do.
Okay.
Is E&M getting bought out causing any problems, or are they still as slow as always?
It's as slow as always. I mean, they work pretty good with us, but it's just their scheduling is kind of like us, they're trying to keep up with everything.
Yeah. All right. RJU's shop building.
We actually had a pre-bid conference last Wednesday. We had seven people show up to the pre-bid, 7 contractors show up to the pre-bid. So
Good.
the bids are due the 21st of June, and we'll see where we come in at.
500,000.
I'd like that.
Yeah. Okay, Randy, the Altocrest treatment plant improvements.
Okay, in the last couple weeks, they completed train number 1, or filter 1, and it's back online and actually doing pretty good. We kept an eye on it for like a whole week before we allowed them to go into filter number 3. So the work in progress right now is the HVAC installation, chemical feed area. They're working on the bathroom renovations, and they were trying to get the inspection from CID, and I think that occurred last Thursday. Then they're working on the chlorine room, the firewall installation, the electrical installation, and what they're working on right now is filter 3. They've actually demoed all of it, and when they're demoing it, they're starting on the far end and starting to rebuild it. So, I mean, they're moving pretty fast, and they should have it completed within 2 weeks. This is the last one of all 3 trains. They're doing a pretty good job. We met with Katie on Thursday, and gosh, that meeting was probably several hours. And what we did is get to meet with Roe and Tony and JW and talk about all the issues, and it was a pretty productive meeting. And we went through and looked at all phases of the project, and we kind of went over the trouble areas. We're having some issues with the gearboxes. They're 750, what they call them. They have not been working well, and we've had 3 of them go out. And we have the other ones are 1,000, which is a faster speed. The 750 is a little bit lower. So we're working on a solution from West Tech, and I believe they'll be on site on the 14th. And we're actually having a conference call with them 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, kind of doing a round the table session. And let me see, the next 30-day look ahead. Of course, I've already talked about the Train 3 demo, exterior chemical building, chlorine equipment, and the raw water intake header, which is going to be quite a little project. And other than that, it's moving along pretty well. They're actually, I think, doing a fairly good job. The other thing I wanted to mention is I talked with Joe about setting up a tour for maybe either next Friday or the following Friday. So we're trying to get that confirmed, and I'd like to offer that to any other council member that would like to attend. And it's kind of good to see, because then you actually can see what's going on. And if we ever have to come to you with a change order, you won't bring a bat at me.
Well, no.
Yeah.
You better call Tim.
Well, there was a couple potential small change orders that I stopped, and we're doing it in-house. We had them give us a price, cost estimate, and it was pretty high.
Yeah.
So we're actually doing it in-house. One of them was painting the inside of the closets that they built for the chlorine cylinders. So that's almost all done already. And then the other one is changing out the vent inside the bathroom. So we're going to do that in-house, or if I have to bring on a contractor, it'd be a lot cheaper. So, but I'll get the best bang for the buck on it, so.
Good.
Hey, Randy, for the head, or the raw water header?
Yeah.
Is that gonna take the plant offline for a couple days, or?
Just probably one day, but it won't affect, people won't be out of water. So, like last time, we had to shut it down and we had to kill the water in that area, so. But yeah, it'll just be an in-house, and what we'll do also is we'll make sure the tanks are full before that project, which we keep them pretty full anyways. That's all I have, if anybody has any questions.
All right, the Town and Country Water and Sewer Project, who's,
You want to do restoration first, John?
what's that?
Restoration first.
Oh, okay, the restoration of the sewer lines.
Restoration, SAK has actually completed their slip lining process and pulled out. The manhole rehab guys, can't remember their name now, Vortex, are still here in town. They are working, they actually worked through the weekend to, try to get a little bit ahead. I think they have 34 manholes, Karen, is that correct, to complete? As of last update,
32, I thought.
32. And then they have, MP Chavez has 2 new constructions and a couple manholes to rehab. They're getting to the point where they're trying to finish up.
Yeah.
Now, are you also doing the one on Carrizo, is that getting done?
That's going to get done, but we're going to have to sub, since they've already taken off for a bypass pump.
Kind of cool.
So, yeah, we do have a manhole in the Carrizo that's in bad shape that they did give us a price on.
This doesn't have anything to do with that, but are we raising the manholes on Meacham?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We actually loaned the state some risers so they could get them done. And
So the state's doing it.
Yes, sir. We're going to help them out, but they wanted to get it run right away, so we had the risers in our yard.
Sound like
They're good. I've had,
concrete around them is what it sounds like.
Yep. Yeah, they're gonna cut them out and actually put the concrete ring and actually concrete around them, make them.
good. I've had several questions about that.
I saw them too.
And they had the guys out for it.
Okay, the Town and Country Water and Sewer.
Town and Country Water and Sewer, I actually talked to Robert Story today from Sutter Miller, and they're trying to get up here to get the signs up for the construction. The contractor, General Hydronics, is supposed to kick off the 21st, is their date to kick off. So we're gonna start going door to door and contacting those people and trying to get them,
That's what we take care of.
make sure they know what's going on up there.
One restroom or 2?
No, one.
I would have done that for him.
All right. Are they ready to start now, or are they gonna have to have some ramp-up time? to
It
get
sounds like they're ready to
materials?
start.
Good.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, on the,
I squashed them.
on that, we sort of talked about it before, but is there any way we can talk to
Windstream.
Windstream, Tularosa Basin,
I actually have,
TDS, whoever?
I actually have a call-in to Bo with Windstream, and they're going to talk to him about, seeing what they can do. Now, that's going to kind of be up to the Windstream and the contractor also, because, this is a grant fund, and it's a set contract price for what we hired them to do, so.
Yeah,
Just
no,
depends
that's
on-
not anything free. That would be
Yeah.
Windstream's cost for the
Exactly,
pipe.
exactly.
But it's cheaper for them to do it when the ditch is open, if there's room.
Yeah, and we'll have to work with them on that. I mean, the sewer line is probably the best place to try to put that line in. You know, there's less maintenance on the sewer line, there's the water line.
Right. All right. Closeout ones, Eagle Creek and Gavilan Wellfield.
So these are the two projects merged together, the Alto 2, Apple Orchard, and Middle Gavilan. The only thing we're waiting for is just the letter from NMED approving the construction closeout, which will give us the authorization to run the Apple Orchard and Middle Gavilan wells. So it can take them up to 6 weeks to get that, and so we should hopefully be getting it this month.
Right, good. So that apple orchard well hadn't operated in a long time, has it?
So we've test pumped both of them, so the new construction works, but yeah, the apple orchard hasn't run in a long time, and I did talk to Jim, right?
Jim Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple years ago about that, so that reminds me, I'll give him a heads up to say that we're gonna be operating that well, and it shouldn't affect Sun Valley's water production system at all, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Okay, good. Well, we don't have much to talk about under completed projects. But, does anybody have anything else, or?
Eric, did you want me to say anything about Country Club?
Yeah.
So what happened, I think it was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks. I went out to Country Club and did an inspection on the whole tank and looked at the foundation and found a little leak. So what I did is I wanted to make sure, because sometimes on the cold side, it gets condensation and it'll drip down, but in the afternoon it'll be gone. So I wanted to confirm that it was a leak. So I went back the next day, and sure enough, there was a little bitty leak. And I got a hold of Katie and Eric and Jerry, and they put a notice together. And I did talk to Mike Lamb, and so they got the ball rolling. They had it documented in an email. So we got the whole ball of wax we got everything moving, and Aaron from Landmark came out last Thursday, and we met on site, Mike and myself and Aaron. And I actually found where it was leaking. There was a small drip on the outside that was going down, and you could actually see a black streak where the water had been running. And it seemed like it would be an easy fix. He came out, he shipped the tools to plant 4, and then I brought him on site, and he cut out sections. He did it in a smart way. He cut section out this way, and no leak. He went above it, and then no leak, and then he went to the right, and he could actually find it. So he fixed it, and it actually looked pretty good. It didn't leak, and I went out there today to verify, and no leaks, dry as a bone. So that does show that we're keeping an eye on it, and we are gonna monitor it, every week. And I found a couple other little issues that are gonna be addressed from file construction. So other than that, we're keeping an eye on it, and before the warranty expires, we're gonna do a real thorough inspection. And I think Jerry Paz and from Mosen and Corbett's going to come out with us. And if we have to put a punch list together, but we're going to make sure it's done right. So, but it went real quick, and he flew out from Minnesota and took care of it. So,
Well, that's good. Are we going to try to do anything with the old tank?
I think we'll have to play that one by ear. I mean, once the project's completed, we're keeping it online for a backup, in case we do have issues, then we have a backup source, and I would like to get it inspected. Matter of fact, I've already had 5 tanks inspected, and I've got 3 more from Midco divers, which will be out probably within the next 2 weeks. And then the only other 2 I have left are the backwash tank. But we have a couple items we have to address before that can be completed. And all of this will be finalized before a sanitary survey. I talked to John today about that, and it's either going to be the end of next month or the first week in August. But what we're doing in-house is we're going and we're inspecting every tank, every pump house. And I've already made the list of items that we have to correct. And it's smart to do it that way because last time we didn't do it and they caught things that we should have caught. But that's going to be different this year. So,
When we bring in those divers and inspector guys, Jim from the Sun Valley Association had asked if maybe we had talked to them to see if they needed whatever service we're try to cut down everybody's cost on.
sure.
What was that? I mean, there's some other little districts around besides Sun Valley.
Yep.
We'll have to watch out because I think that there's only a certain amount of time that people can dive in any given week. And so that's,
Oh, okay.
so that's why Randy had to divide his up into several different sections.
Yeah.
So,
Because of the altitude and the size of the tank,
but I still think we can converse with Jim and at least
And
explore
maybe
the
on other
potential.
inspections of
Yes.
some kind.
Oh, so a diver has to take so many days off after a dive?
well, they can dive for so many hours and then another diver has to go in. And a lot of it is based on the height of the tank, the elevation, so. But last time I had Rubicon applied divers. They came in and did the 5 big ones. And good thing that I went out for 3 quotes because they saved us quite a bit of money. 3 quotes that came in were pretty different. One was real high, one was pretty low, and the other one was in the middle. So they actually did a pretty good report. I've got all 5 reports and 5 actual tapes or videos when they're actually in the tank. So, right, Adam? So, but anyways, it's going to help out. Well,
Good.
it's going to cost us money too because they're identifying things that need to be corrected, so.
Well, it's better correct them when we want to instead of an emergency.
Yeah, pay me now, pay me later, right?
All right, does anybody have anything else?
Actually, we do need to start thinking about getting another member. So we need to put out feelers.
We need a member at large.
Yeah, because with Frank Potter not being able to serve.
You have to be not a village employee. If anybody has any ideas, I'll be glad to.
I might have some ideas. Let me think about it, Karen. I'll get with you.
And then the next meeting date is a holiday, so we need to pick another one. You want to skip it for the next month? Or do you want to do it the next week? 2 weeks?
The next day, doesn't matter to me, I'm here.
I'm not sure what the schedule is, it seems kind of tight.
Maybe you could check that and let us know.
Okay.
You sure you want to have a workshop meeting and a utility committee at the same day?
Yeah,
So Adam, who you thinking of, Jesse Reynolds?
so,
we can, Jesse, on
Should be the 5th.
all right.
Is that, the 5th is Monday, and that's the holiday.
But is that what you're saying? Because that's the date. You don't have to know anything.
So we would need to do the 6th or the next week.
Well, Eric brought up the 6th will be a workshop meeting for the council.
I'll just do the 12th, following week.
Before the regular meeting.
Okay,
Look into the 12th and I'll let you guys know.
yeah, that'd be fine.
That's all I have.
See if we can find a home. All right, well, if that's it, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
The 12th, on Monday?
Tim, have you heard anything